Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great. Appreciate you stopping by. Hit that like button. Let's get into this puppy. Miami Heat win 120-111 to go to 3-1 on the preseason. This was a game that was supposed to be last week. It got moved because of an abundance of caution for Hurricane Milton. So it ends up becoming the second night of a back-to-back. I got to be honest with you. I went into this one thinking this was going to be a G League game. I thought this was going to be, maybe Duncan Robinson and Jaime would play just because those guys play, and maybe Haywood, like a lot of the guys from the second unit might go out there. But I thought for sure Jimmy, Bam, Tyler, Terry, maybe Nico would play because he's a baby. But I thought the main players, I thought they would sit out, and instead Spo, he goes complete other direction, and he just says, why don't we use this as a work day? Go out there. I'm sure if the Miami Heat had their regular schedule the way that it was, I would have imagined they probably would have had a pretty hard practice today. Well, not a hard, but they probably would have practiced today or maybe the next day. So instead, they go out there and they get some game action against an Atlanta Hawks team that, came in here guns blazing. They were lighting it up from three, but same rotation as yesterday. Everybody played. The starters played deep into the second half of this game, and the results were good. I mean, the Miami Heat had a dominant third quarter. But I'm gonna scope out here for a second, and because I think a lot of the same stories were true. For highlights of the game, I think Tyler Hero with another steal and slam was huge. You had some great, a great Alec Burks lob to Thomas Bryant. Bam had this just insane pass to Jimmy Butler. It was an absolute rocket. It was a great pass from Jimmy Butler. Nikola Jovic took a shot right to the nuts from was it Bruskin? Is that was the dude's name? What the hell is that dude's name on the Hawks? Buffkin hit him right in the brates, dude. I mean, that was a rough one. I mean, your final numbers today that stood out from the starting lineup. I mean, like, nobody was too flashy. Bam did hit a 3-ball today. He was a little bit all over. I mean, it's maniacal going and looking at the steal numbers with this team. 15 steals once again for the Miami Heat. So some of this stuff just continues to be the case. Jaime Jaquez had 3 steals. Bam and Jimmy each had 3 steals. Tyler had the steal and slam. Terry Rozier had a steal. That's been a wild thing, man, that the Miami Heat have continued to put up those kind of numbers in disrupting the zone. But you also had a game today, especially in the first half, where the Hawks were lighting it up. Miami Heat sticking around and with it. But, man, I think the story is just one guy today, to be honest with you. I think that the story of this preseason game and really this preseason is Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy Butler is not only hooping and playing great for the Miami Heat, as he is, as ESPN ranks him nearly out of the top 20, almost into the top 30. And today, he gives you 24 points in 21 minutes, 8 of 11 from the field, 6 of 8 from the free throw line. Just a, classic Jimmy Butler performance. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, only 1 turnover. Always takes care of the basketball. But, man, it was funny today because you tune into this game, and I didn't notice this until I saw this. I think it was Jimmy's agent retweeting something, and he was retweeting a Heat versus Haters type of tweet, and it was hilarious because I was like noticing, but I didn't get the joke, and I was just like, Jimmy, he goes, he's got the hair redone today, but then you notice like Jimmy's got kind of like a different look going on. He's got the wristband on the right hand, he's got the sleeve on the left arm, and he's got his purple shoe. That's kind of cool. He's got purple shoes. Look at Terry's got purple shoes. It just didn't dawn on me that Jimmy Butler was doing a complete troll job. It went whoosh, completely over my head. And then when I saw him, just like, he is maniacal. He is hilarious. And he completely copied Terry Rozier's outfit. And by the way, I think it's a good look for him. But I was like, I was just at the game last night, and he had the hairs all out. He has no gear on his arms, not something he typically rocks. I just remember him, of course, messing with Chris Paul yesterday. And, you got a preseason game today. He's cosplaying Terry Rozier. And I think, to me, break down all you want, everything that happened today. That's fine. But to me, Jimmy Butler playing with this team and having the attitude that he is, looks like he's really enjoying himself. He's having a good time. He looks engaged. Yesterday would not stop chirping on the bench. He's there with all his teammates. And Eric Spoelstra, I remember saying this to me in our interview preseason, where he was like, me, Bam, and Jimmy, we can really move the locker room. But there is a thing where, like, Bam's going to get along with everybody because he's got that harmonious. It's not that Jimmy's not going to get along with anybody, but it's like, all right, what is his attitude going to be like this year? Because he can make this go one of two ways. Everybody wanted to know, what was this going to be like? But I think it's not only it's not only going good, it feels like it's going great for the Miami Heat. In the way he's sticking up for Nikola Jovic, the way that he's putting his arms around Terry Rozier, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna copy your whole thing today, and we'll have some fun with it." The interactions with Tyler Hero for sure. And then him and Bam are just always rock steady with what they do for this team, but it really just feels like it could not be going better for the Miami Heat and the Jimmy Butler relationship, when everybody was sitting here and wondering, like, I don't know, like, what's he going to do? Is this going to be T-Wolves 2.0? He has been more than, thoughtful and company line when it comes to his media sessions and talking about, what does the money matter? I don't really care about the money. I only want to win. You saw in the epilogue of the Netflix Starting Five where he says he owes the city and the organization a championship. And that's all great. I mean, the words are something, but it's always actions more so than words. And you see that this is also a team that's like kind of branching out from his sweet spot, right? Not being a mid-range team. Well, he's going to be right into that. There was a beautiful play today where Tyler draws in two guys, kicks right out to Jimmy, bang, they're both celebrating and having fun. There's just a lot of joy. And I know this may seem stupid because it's a preseason game and it's like, who cares, right? But I don't know. I think that there's just definitely a palpable vibe around the team that just feels like it's in a good place. I did mention during the year, I'm like, I think there's going to be a light and load from everybody coming into this year from a mental burden standpoint and having all that time away. But you certainly weren't going to know until 22 came in here and wanted to know how he was going to handle this. And he has handled this like a leader. He has handled this like an absolute franchise player should. And it just feels like everybody's so bought in. And then you think about today, right? Like, it's been funny kind of seeing, his agent tease Ira on Twitter a little bit, with every time, because I think we are all surprised. Everybody who covers this team is a little surprised that Jimmy has played as much as he has in the preseason. This is actually, Ira pointed this out, this is the most preseason games he's played with Heat going back to his first year when he was in his 20s. And look, if you're the Miami Heat and you're Eric Spoelstra, the conventional wisdom is, hey, why risk it? But then the other side of it is we've been doing it it's the insanity thing. We've been doing it one way for a couple of years of being uber careful and everybody keeps getting hurt. Why don't we go at this and play basketball and have fun playing basketball? And Eric Spoelstra had this interesting thing that he said yesterday. He was responding to a question from Cooper Moorhead about the steals, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, but I think it was, tough things can be fun if you really commit to them. And I remember last year, it's funny that he mentioned the tough things because I remember his frustration last year in many press conferences where he mentioned the term tough things. And he was like, almost like, I love this. I am a maniac competitor. I love the tough things. Why won't you guys? He never calls out his team player by player, and he never really rips his team in the media. But he always kept bringing up this thing last year of you have to do tough things. You have to do tough things if you're going to compete and win. And then you just notice how disruptive this team is being in the early goings of this preseason. And they just look like they're having a ball. They really do. And that's even down to when the summer league guys are out there and they're, making their things happen. And, you're getting big time plays and everybody's celebrating. And even down to Kel'el Ware, who kind of had like a frustrating performance up until the end where he gets this monster putback slam. And you could tell like he was frustrated with his night because he kept, fumbling the ball and rebounds were going away and he just wasn't clicking for him. And then finally, like all of the frustration of that night went down and everybody was kind of there for him. Like it was a beautiful thing. Pella did have a sick ass lob to him though. I love seeing what he's doing. And Pella also had this, there was this beautiful play where it was like Pella had a tie up, loose ball to Kel'el, gets it to Josh Christopher, who throws a sick lob to Keyshawn Johnson. So the Summer League champs were doing their thing today, man. Everybody was hooping. Everybody was doing a great job today. Haywood Highsmith was on point. He finished with 16 points, 6 of 8, 2 of 4 from downtown. He was on range on some of these. Strangely enough, he had no steals and blocks. You would always think, I'm going to go look. No, it was all offense for Mr. Locksmith today out there. I think Kevin Love only got in. I think he only got in the second half, which was kind of weird, but he is in and he hits a couple of threes. It was almost like everybody wanted to be in on the party. It was awesome, man. I think the only things that happened poorly for the Heat tonight was Nico getting hit in the nuts and Duncan got skywalked on by Jalen Johnson. But, take it on, move on. That was it. I mean, those were about the only bad things that went down for the Miami Heat today. And you've just been impressed by the way that they're playing right now. And so kudos to Eric Spoelstra. Probably shouldn't be a surprise. He's going to be like, oh, you dummies think we're going to go one way, and I'm going to go this completely other direction. And so I'm going to assume, I would have assumed that last night was going to be the last run the Stars really got until opening day. I would have thought no one's going to Friday against the Memphis Grizzlies, but maybe they do. I mean, he has made it a point that he wanted that starting unit to get as much time together as possible. They have been playing like a unit that has chemistry together, and maybe they do. I'm not going to guess wrong and look like a fool in front of everybody again, so we'll see what happens Friday night. But this was, I think, out of everything tonight, it has definitely been, over the last couple of days, the story of Jimmy Butler and just how he looks like he is just got a little joy of basketball around him again. It's and it's very, very noticeable how it's spreading to everybody else.